following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network.
On this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr., we welcome PBA Megastar Kyle Troup to the show. Everybody knows who he is. He is the face of the PBA, and we can't wait to officially welcome him as a guest to the show. Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. starts now.
This is PBA champion Kyle Troup.
Hey y'all, Jacob Ledrup here.
Hey guys, Chuck Ritchie here, formerly of Bowl TV.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Schaefer of track staff at Valley Bowling Center in Waverly, New York.
And you're listening to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Yo, the boys from Straight Up 5, Rad Rob, Dr Ocho, and of course JP Jr.
As you know, JP Jr. used to be introduced as the sexiest man in bowling, and now the world. But he doesn't have the best hair in the world. I do. Sorry, bud, but you know the deal. Pick it out. Fear the fro, baby.
Welcome to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. A hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look into the world of bowling. This podcast will not only cover all things bowling, but will also give you a raw look into real-life issues. You'll get unfettered access into the mind of one of the most gifted bowlers of this or any other generation.
Strike, and they claim it. Similarly does it.
So without further ado, let's introduce you to the hosts of the show. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Dr Ocho. Dr Ocho. And the incomparable Johnny Petraglia Jr. Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Hey guys, welcome back to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. I am your host, Rad Rob, Rob Francois. This is episode 116. We have a very, very special guest tonight. But before we do that, let's say hello to everybody in our chat on this Friday night. Dave Pico, what's going on, brother? That's it. That's all we got. All right. Good night, everybody. Our special guest is not here yet. I've been trying to get a hold of him for the last 6 to 8 minutes. Hopefully he's okay and could have gotten time zone change. I think he's actually on Central Time when we're supposed to be on Eastern. But Nico, what's going on, brother? Nico Pujar's in the house. Johnny Sperone, what's going on, brother? We got Del Picard. Good evening. Everybody filtering in here. I know it's a Friday night. I know it's, not a typical podcast night. I'm sure people have other things to do. But due to scheduling conflicts with Johnny and Kyle, we had to do tonight. But I'm thankful for it. Dr. Interrupto will be here in a second. He is in Kentucky, so yeah, he's on Central Time, so he may think we're going on at 8 o'clock Central when it was 8 o'clock Eastern, but I'll keep trying to reach him. But until then, hey, Tammy, what's going on? Welcome. Good evening, everybody. Good to see you. Let's bring in my first co-host. He is the man with the golden mask. He is straight out of Ochoville, the resident house hack from Howell Lanes. Everybody's favorite doctor, Dr. Ocho. What's going on, Dr. Interrupto?
No, that's not my name.
Sperone says it is.
Yeah, that's not my name. Whatever Sperone says is fuck him. So, yeah, where's this guy you've been talking about? He's coming on here, right?
He's one of the pros. He's very...
And he wished me a happy birthday, so I know he wouldn't miss this damn thing. Are you kidding me?
Not many people know who he is, but...
And a parfait.
He's going to get the rub from Straight Up 5. So,
yeah, you said the rub.
Good evening.
So, did you buy a Dodge or something? Is that you got a new truck?
Hold on.
You spelled Dodge wrong on your hat.
We're excited to be able to wish Ocho a happy birthday today.
Good evening, Nicole. What about Dodge truck? What? No,
yeah, you bought a Dodge truck. I guess they got a free hat with when you bought or maybe you leased it, or maybe you bought a used one.
No. Doge, not.
Oh, the D is silent.
Dodge. Yes, it's. I do.
That's
have a
weird way to spell it. So now I'm gonna get a Kevy tomorrow.
Such an asshole.
Or a third.
Joining us next to you is the man with the name of the marquee, number 7 in your program, number 1 in your hearts, the sexiest man in the world, Mr. Johnny Petraglia Jr. JP, what up, dog?
Always a pleasure to be here, Rad Rob. A glorious Friday. I was really, really excited to go swimming today, considering it was 100 degrees on Monday and Tuesday.
Right.
Thanks to nature for now making it 65. And I'm in a hoodie at the end of June.
I'm still going in.
I know. Kyle says, shit, my bad. Just finished up eating, completely forgot my alarm didn't go off.
He forgot that his alarm didn't go off, or he forgot,
no,
his alarm
forgot,
didn't go off.
No, hold on. He just finished up eating. He completely forgot, period.
Period. Okay, well, you didn't read it like that.
Sorry. My alarm didn't go off. Faceplant emoji.
Oh, you didn't give us the emoji, but you couldn't do the punctuation properly.
I'll punctuate your fucking face next time I see you. If I ever see you. I wouldn't even know what you look like if you don't have your mask on. So,
what mask?
What mask?
Eugene Olsen's in the house. What's going on, brother? What's going on?
All right, now you really got to filibuster. Shit.
I do.
Well, ask Johnny about how he bowled last night.
Johnny, how'd you bowl last night?
Don't ask.
The bowling tear continues, my friend. Popped off another 803 last night, and fortunately, yeah, thank you.
Hell yeah, dude!
Enough to steal the eliminator in a star-studded Majestic field, but no, man, really, really excited. This weekend's big tournament weekend for me. Dougie Vision events down in Delaware. Got 2 really, really good teams for the Rep Your Set event tomorrow night at Bolorama, as well as the Anchor Lady Trios on Sunday afternoon. So it's nice to be going in. Got some new bowling balls drilled. The Brands of Brunswick is releasing 10 new bowling balls in the next 2 months, one of which happens to be a recreation of the original Columbia Pulse, the red one from 1996, which I never got to throw. So even if it rolls nothing like it, it's nostalgic for me to have that. But the 803 I bowled last night was with the new Ethos Solid from Brunswick, with a couple shots with the Infinity Quest and the Combat thrown in there. So excited with the new balls and the upcoming tournaments, and we'll see how it goes.
Ocho, do you have new balls yet? Nope, same balls.
And let me tell you how I bowled last night. I didn't. But I will in September.
One league and that's it, dude.
I will in September. I have muscle memory. Look, when you carry a 220 average, you only have to go 3. What the fuck you just do? Shit. Anyway,
took a drink and I heard a weird noise.
I did that. Did it blank out because some app wanted to get reprogrammed?
No.
But no, that's why I'm here to be the antagonist of bowling, and why a schlep rock like me should have. Actually, I finished at 217, so I'm way off.
Oh, good for you. That's better than 214 usually.
I was 221 last year. You freaking.
Were you really? I'm a few years off. I'm sorry. You know what my average is?
Dodge.
Good bowling, Johnny. Proud of you, buddy.
Thanks,
that's a Majestic, correct?
Yeah, I've.
Because that don't count or something.
Yeah, especially 1 and 2 of Majestic. My last 3 sets on that pair are 803, 815, and 1057 for 4. So. Damn. Pretty safe to say that if I had to bowl somebody on any pair in any building, that would be it.
That is pretty sick.
At least at this point.
That's pretty sick.
Is one back up anything, or is it the wall? Like, is there like a?
There's a slight walk.
The walkway. That's okay. Yeah. So it's not like.
Do you have a 5-hour intro for Kyle so we can drag this out while he joins us? He's actually here, but yes, I do have an intro. So while he's here, he can.
You just ruined the whole show.
He can watch my mastery of this video that I put together. So here is a look at the career of the one and only Kyle Troup.
Looking at the big lead, he's got it. Oh, just Guppy's overcome by emotion back there. It's just got to be so special. Kyle Troup over Marshall Kent, the top seed, 229-179. Guppy Troup, his dad, 8-time PBA Tour titleist. Tough to contain your emotions when your son, first ever PBA TV appearance wins his first ever title. Sure.
There's a proud father. There's some happy fans, and there are your champions. Kyle Troup, Jesper Svensson.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have a new winner in the Storm Lucky Larson's Masters. What a guy.
But he couldn't top the top seed in Kyle Troup. Trophy time.
We got it, baby! Love you, Mom! Get it, Pablo! That's for you, Joe! Oh, you, baby! We got it! Thank you, Storm, Vice, Bowler X, Coolwick, Team Fish, everybody. This is a special one. Kobe, we all love you.
For Guppy, and certainly for his son as well. Come on, Kyle.
Give him the title! Give them the title!
Love you, baby! We did it, baby! We did it! Yeah, we did it! I love you so much. That's for Mom. Yes, baby! Let him hear it! Come on! Woo!
And here it is.
Kyle Troup has the strike, has the win in Jupiter, Florida. Kyle Troup is the 2020 PBA Tour Finals champion. Go get that trophy, Kyle.
This is a beautiful trophy. Oh, Storm, thank you. Storm, Coolwick, Vice, Team Fish, Bowler X. This is for all of us, baby. Love you, Gup, Tyler, Mom. Mwah.
He woke up Monday saying it's a major week. Sunday, it's a major title. Finally, for Kyle Troup.
Randy, that adjustment in the sixth frame was a $250,000 adjustment.
Love you, Mom. Go, Peter, Tyler, Brian, Cindy. Love all y'all. Thank you, Storm. Bowler X, Team Fish, Vice, Coolwick. Oh my God. Thank you all the fans too. Y'all make this possible. Love all y'all.
So happy for that young man.
A million
times.
A million times. Look at Gup, can't even watch.
Pops, head down, head up. Kyle Troup, one pin. For the win!
No, he's got it! Move. I got you! Double pick, baby! Ric Flair, baby! The belt's coming home!
Proud of you, man. Love you too. Thanks, man.
And the Kia PBA playoff belt once again goes to Kyle Troup.
Who's the champ, baby?
You're the champ, baby! The satisfying moment of the match.
Ric Flair!
Sponsored by Snickers. To be the man, you gotta beat the man. Nothing satisfies like a Snickers.
Can't wait to go to war with you in September, brother.
Yeah, hell yeah. Let's do it.
Go get that trophy, Troup.
Hall of Fame, baby! Guppy, Tyler, Brianna, Aubrey, Caleb. Love you guys. This was for all y'all. Thank you, Storm, Vice, Coolwick, Bowler X, Team Fish, Ray's Eyewear, Lane Talk. This is for everybody, baby. Oh my God. Prettier than the first one I got.
Just brutally tough. And when you win a U.S. Open, man, does it feel good.
It's always fun against you, man. You know that.
feel nothing but joy here, Randy.
Yeah, I mean, he handled it with such class at the end, and he says all the right things. But you know what? He bowled great today.
He didn't seem to have any of the problems that anybody else had. He fought right through it.
He earned it.
Yeah, 100%. He took advantage of.
Kyle Troup, your Indiana Classic champion.
Hell of a bowler, brother. Keep it up.
Coverage of the 2024 PBA season continues next Sunday, March 3rd on FS1 at noon Eastern with the PBA Delaware Classic from Mid-County Lanes and Entertainment in Middletown, Delaware. Coming up next, it's Mountain West Conference Women's College Basketball.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one and only Kyle Troup. Kyle, what's going on, brother?
Man, what an intro. And where'd my video go? Can y'all see me?
I can
Yeah, you're here. Oh, there you go.
All right. What's up? Sorry,
What up,
guys.
dude?
We were a little late. Took an afternoon nap after driving home from North Carolina.
Well
And,
deserved, buddy. Well deserved.
Completely forgot. Yep, I'm dust.
Those are important.
Well, we're glad to have you here regardless, man. Welcome
Sick intro.
officially to the
Sick
show. I know
intro.
you're on for Johnny's birthday, but you're an official guest now, so welcome to the roster.
Glad to be on the roster.
And you did something for my
Sorry,
birthday,
sorry.
too, so thank you for that, buddy. I really do appreciate
Of course.
that.
Heck yeah. Anytime.
Nobody did shit for my birthday, so I mean that's
Well, then maybe we go in order of importance here, Rob. Come on.
Johnny, start it off, buddy.
Kyle, first of all, great to see you, brother. Looking healthy, looking good, dude.
Likewise.
I'm glad to see you nice and relaxed and cozy. Let's dive into it, man. Why don't you give us a little rundown of your season this year? Highs and lows, takeaways. Just give us a little tidbit of what went on this year for you.
Yeah, there was definitely more lows than highs. It was, by far, it was my first year pretty much without winning a title in like 5 years. We still have the Lucy in Sweden coming up, but that's a little later in the year. It was pretty tough, honestly. First week made the cut, bowled terrible in the match play, bowled the U.S. Open, missed match play by 2 pins as defending champion, so that kind of sucked. Chicago was kind of a blur, nothing too exciting there. Springfield was probably the pretty crazy one. Leaving the 5-10 in the 10th, needing a mark to make the show. That was pretty devastating for sure, because that shot was really good, even though it was the tight lane. I'd still go back and see it, and I'm like, I don't know how that stood. And a lot of grinding after that. Obviously we spent a month in Reno. That was an experience in itself. I was able to get to like 7th in the World Championship after being kind of dead earlier in the week. So, gave myself a little bit of life coming down the stretch with a few other majors. Again, Masters, made a good run there. Felt good to throw it hard and straight after getting smoked by Dan McClellan in the second round of the winner's bracket. And, didn't really make any of the major shows, but with all that being said, was able to qualify for the playoffs, which that was my high of the season. Especially considering, I didn't make a show. I went back and looked at the points, and, my awesome fact for the year was the other 2 guys in the top 40 that didn't make a show were 36 and 38 in points, and I was 12th. So, I was pretty proud about that. Obviously, let's see. Yeah,
Kyle, your bar's up here too. You know what I mean? People are looking at your season, obviously going, man, that 38th and 34th person's going, man, how do you do that? But you're like, well, I usually win. So we get it. You're ratting off stats about how you did actually bowl well. You didn't win, but you're still up there in the points. You're 7th. And so it's just a matter of how high your bar has been set too. So, which is great because that's how you get better. That's how you succeed.
Yeah, for sure. And, the PBA dropped some stats the other day, and, they were like top 5s and listed the top 5 people that made it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to be on any of those lists. But then they posted the top 20, and I was 3rd at 11. So I was like, well, there you go. That's what I did. And, so I was able to stay consistent enough to stay in the playoffs, stay in the tour finals. And I felt like I could win both. And unfortunately, I made probably my worst shots in a long time on TV in the 10th frame, back-to-back tournaments against Grand Fall. So that kind of sucked. And, that kind of put an end to the season. But the other positive note, and it kind of carries me into probably some questions y'all may have had, is, whenever I started working with Dave, my fitness nutrition coach last year, I'm coming up on almost about a year at the end of July. And his goal was to make me more consistent. And, obviously win, player of the year, take over the world, Kyle Troup bowling balls everywhere, so we kind of missed out on that boat. But, it was by far my most consistent year without making a show. And, so there was a lot of positives to take from it, but definitely some clear signs of a few things to work on.
Kyle, you're a player of your caliber at that level in any sport. The intricacies, the tiniest little things that could alter it, you in just one season out on tour. Would you chalk it up? Not saying you obviously your stats say how well you did do, all things considered, like you just said. But is there any one thing in particular you would say would chalk up this season compared to your more successful previous seasons? Whether it be ball motion, was it physical, was it not seeing the lanes, or like what was going on?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, there's two things that stick out in my mind when you ask me that. One, it was, definitely some different physical battles throughout the year. Like leading up to the tour season, I was bowling great, but I was bowling on a lot of house shots. I smashed the holiday doubles, I smashed this other house shot tournament, bowling 850. And then I went out on tour and I was like, oh boy, ton to practice. So, at the beginning we were kind of working through some things, and then it was something else. I was like just finding little Band-Aids for my game throughout the season. But then the ultimate thing was, mentally, I guess I handled it well on being able to consistently make the cuts, but, missing match plays, missing by 2 at the US Open, missing the show at the World Championship by 20. Mentally, it was just not staying patient. Like I put a lot of work in on myself leading up to this season, as far as fitness, nutrition. Definitely didn't practice enough of the right practice. I was bowling a lot, but wasn't really diving in deep, going to work with Sean Ryan, sending him some videos, was just kind of going through the motions. And then obviously mentally kind of let that slip a little bit and wasn't quite prepared how I thought I was going to be for the mental side of the season.
Kyle, you just said something about when you said putting Band-Aids on them, where it's like you're fixing this situation for this instance, but there's still probably 5 more Band-Aids that you're still trying to work through. And it almost sounds like that might have been and then you said, the practice sessions, and this is why, you would do one thing to get through this one tournament, put a Band-Aid on it. It helps. And then, am I talking too loud? You got to get out of the house?
No, you're good. The dog just needed to pee. She was ringing the bells.
Good. I understand. Is dog euphemism for anything else, or is it just mean dog?
Yeah. Yeah, there she is. She's running around out there.
On Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr., Kyle Troup's dog peeing on the podcast. That's what we do. Give us some of this here, quick.
It's perfect.
Show us the biceps, man.
So
the biceps.
There it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So when you say I'm putting Band-Aids on things, it sounds like you already kind of knew where the issues were, and like now you got to, instead of putting Band-Aids on, you're going to make stitches and correct all the issues, and instead of correct one thing for this time, one thing for this time. It's almost like you gave us the answer in the rebuttal.
Right. And when the season finished, we did have a big tournament over in Korea, like the week after the playoffs. Mia, come on, girl. Yep, here she comes. And so we had a big tournament after, leading up, going into Korea. So I actually went down to Florida, worked with Sean Ryan a little bit. I have to thank my fiance for that, because she was in his ear at the Masters, and he was like, yeah, I got time off in May. And she was like, hey, I think you should go bowl Korea. I think you should go work with Sean Ryan too. And I was like, all right, sounds good. So,
the more you win, the better she's off too.
Yeah. And, so we're already trying to start working on it. It was crazy. Unfortunately, I chose to start working on my game seriously right when the season finished. But, there's still a lot coming up. I'm heading to USBCs on Sunday. So, we've got that event, the Lucy, the wedding, and then Sweden. So, there's definitely some stuff to bowl, and then obviously some of the bigger amateur doubles tournaments towards the end of the year. So, we're starting early this year. We're going to put a lot more focus on the physical game throughout this back half of this year, so we don't get caught in this situation again.
So I know it goes without saying, but how proud of you are you of your boy Jesper for what he's done this year?
Dude, oh my God, man. Like, he did it again. He does this the last couple of years. He saved a season. He had a heartbreak in Reno, smashing him out there, missed the world championship by 4 pins, I believe it was. BJ Moore double 8 to make it. And then he turns right back around, makes $200,000 to finish the year, wins the TSC again. I knew he was winning the TSC though. That was the pretty sick part, because he don't talk about tournaments that he lost, like in the past, and he always talks about losing to O'Grady after just lapping him at the TSC that year. Yeah. And in practice, and he was kind of like a lot of negativity around him throughout the year, in a sense of, if I ever tried to like pump him up or say, like, all right, yep, yeah, this is your week, he'd always just blow it off. And I made a comment and I was like, oh yeah, here comes Jesper this week. And he was like, and I was like, don't you dare about to say. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna win. And I was like, oh, is that how you feel this week? I was like, it's about damn time I heard that. Like, all this negative stuff, like, it needs to go. Like, go kill. And then here he is, man. It's, really, really proud of him, but now it sucks because now I'm behind him in title count. So I've got to win one of these next few to finish the year off. That's what he told me after he won the playoffs. That and said, you're welcome for stopping EJ from beating my earnings record. So, got a couple wins from that.
It's like hearing the top guys in the sport in their inside jokes is pretty damn funny. Yeah. Because we're watching on TV and they're boasting about all these stats, and then you're like, yeah, because of me. That's why that shit didn't happen.
It makes it totally relatable.
It humanizes everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we had Tim Mack on a few weeks ago, and he was talking about Jesper and what was going on that week, and he said he saw a different demeanor in him. He said the same thing you said, that he knew he was going to win, and man, it was just special to see that.
It's been a long time since I've seen that from him, but I've seen it several times. Like, he's put on some clinics in the past, 3-4 years ago, and it was nice to see that again. And probably the first time I've seen it since no pitch blacks and fast pitches. So,
yep, that's true.
Obviously, when he was ripping those down the lane, life was easier all around. But it was nice to see. And he made a ton of money. He bought a new house in Sweden. So couldn't have come at a better time for him and Jolene, and they're doing well over there.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was definitely a pleasure to watch, to see that spark in his eye, to watch somebody like Jesper with that cool, calm demeanor, but obviously, and then just to explode in raw, real emotion. And then obviously we all know your raw, real emotion, to watch your true heartwarm felt feelings for your dear friend. It's really, really, it makes for absolutely perfect television. It really. But,
yeah, Fox was they were pretty happy. I went back and watched it, and I was like, wow, I was like another star of the show. It was like me and Ben Stiller.
Speaking a little bit off topic here, Kyle, but I promised a couple buddies of mine that I would mention this, because one of the biggest things that we always talk about with you when it comes to the things you bring to the table on tour is you're the face of professional bowling. It's I think the entire world would agree when I say I wish we had 20 more of your personalities and the way you are with fans, because you leave a lasting imprint on people and you bring people back into the sport. I'm sure you know it, but to witness it firsthand, I have a very, very dear friend of mine. His name is Dave. He actually went out to see all you guys at the PBA Tour Finals. Rob, I think I sent you a picture that I told him I would put up here for you. But you had Dave. You're one of the reasons why Dave turned to bowling in replacement of something else in life that I'm not going to go into detail over here. But meeting you was one of the highlights of his life, and he's a dear friend of mine. And at the tour finals, he introduced you to his buddy Justin, who apparently Justin's son Julian asked you for your autograph, and you got the whole pin signed by everybody at the finals. So,
Okay. Yep, I do remember doing that for a kid.
Yeah,
I'm working
so
on it, Johnny. I'm
awesome.
having technical difficulties.
That's all right. That's all right. I just wanted to take a second on their behalf, especially to thank you for continuing to be the consummate professional and always truly a class act wherever you are, whenever you are. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
Hell yeah, man.
Just trying to lead by example. You know, we've had a lot of good guys show us the right way to do it, and just gonna do my best to continue along that path.
Well, it's awesome, man. So you got you have USBC's team event and double singles. You said Sunday, Monday, or you're leaving?
Yeah, so we're flying down to Baton Rouge. Brianna's bowling as well. She's on a separate team. So I've typically bowled with Chris Hans, and our team has changed so much because of all the rules and all these damn kids we bowl with just joined the PBA. So then I can't bowl with them no more. But yeah, so we fly down Sunday. We're bowling Tuesday, Wednesday, and then getting back in town before the 4th. So kind of a quick trip. Monday is going to be 2 squads of Bowlers Journal and the BTM. So we're going down to bowl. We ain't going down for too much else other than business. There we go. But that's fine.
Excellent.
Okay, yeah, heck yeah. Yeah, I remember my man.
Hell yeah.
Very nice. Man, hats off to Lee and them, too. That they do such an awesome job at that event, and they get people lined up hours before. Obviously, they did the tailgate party in the parking lot. That was pretty cool on Saturday. But if anybody's in that area and hasn't been, because I would imagine we're going back next year for something, who knows what event it'll be. That's, I would say, must not miss weekend on the PBA tour. But yeah, Nationals. I know I got on a tangent, but yeah, looking forward to Nationals to see the scores are a little bit tougher this year. So, that excites me. Go out, grind a little bit. Haven't bowled a ton in the last couple of weeks. Bowled a bunch of derby squads here in Louisville, but back on the house shot. So had to slow the hand down a little bit in practice this week after bowling 5 squads of derby over the weekend.
Very, very good. Is that the biggest thing aside from obviously what is, Kyle, that's a great question for you that we don't talk about it enough on this show. Coming from you and not from a random, Joe League bowler, what are we know sport patterns are hard. We understand you have to understand shape, volume, but what is truly, if you were going to try and explain in a nutshell, the difference between a pro bowler bowling all year on sport patterns and going to bowl on house versus somebody who's bowling house all year going on to sport? Like what are the big, obviously we know there's not the puddle in the middle, there's more friction on the gutter on house, but like what are the big things that you have to change when you're going back and forth, because they are 2 completely different games?
Yeah, so the big difference, I'll just speak on the differences I see, because I did start bowling a summer league here in Louisville, and now the Derby tournament's going on. So I'm definitely bowling on house shot a little bit. And for me, it's a few things. One, when I first come off a tour, yeah, I'm not hitting it nowhere near hard enough. You got soft hand on tour and you got hard hand or whatever, hit it hard on the house shot. So that's one of the biggest things for me is, yeah, my ball sees the cliff on the house shot so much more. One, because I don't really hit it a ton, because I'm kind of nice to it from coming off a tour. And 2, I feel like my ball roll a lot of times, is very forward because I'm trying to be end over end throughout, pretty much all our competition. On tour, I get here, I get back home, strong balls hook immediately, so I'm having to throw much weaker balls. So it's an adjustment for me there. And it's funny because J-Town, they have a new center here in Louisville, trying to just figure out the house shot. Like I had executives figured out before they closed. It just hooked when you got in the parking lot. So, you just had to loft it after game 1. And, I've started to drill a lot lower pins, like kind of getting into like the technical side a little bit about bowling balls is, on the 2LS system, the 3rd number is the distance, the pin to the fingers. Well, on tour, a lot of mine are 4, 4.5, 5. So much higher pins, which to me, in simple terms, I see it as higher pins equal more flare on the bowling ball. Lower pins, less flare. So I drilled a lot of balls. I probably drilled 8 or 9 balls in the last 2 months with like a 2.5 at most on my third number for the 2LS, just to get the pins a lot lower. And now I can actually see my ball kind of get down the lane and shape off the back. Whereas, if I do a phase 2 at 5 inches versus 2.5, the phase 2 actually starts to hook down lane. So, the technical side changes a little bit, but I feel like for me, a lot of the struggles is just getting the physical game kind of back into that house shot mode, a little more around it, a lot more aggressive with your hand at the bottom. And then obviously going from house to sport, just reverse everything that I said.
Kyle, speaking of bowling ball layouts, I have a personal question here. I'm not two-handed, but a no-thumber myself. Why doesn't seemingly no two-handers or no-thumbers ever drill anything pinned down? I feel like I never see the pin below the fingers on anybody two-handed.
So I can kind of answer it, and then that's also a way higher technical answer than I could probably even think about knowing what I'm talking about. But it's crazy that you mentioned that, because Chris Schlemmer, the Rotogrip guy, was our rep for the tour finals. And, we only get to see him because Rob and Timmy are busy and they're working on tour. So he asked me on like Saturday or something. He was like, "You ever drill any balls pinned down?" I'm like, "No, definitely not. Like they don't really hook. They roll completely different." And he's like, "All right, I'm gonna talk to Alex. We may mess around with a few things, but for me, I guess when they remove the weight hole, it just kind of gets the balls to, I wouldn't even know how to lay out the ball pinned down as far as like with the 2LS system. And I guess it just gets the ball. And that's the thing, like all these bowling balls are $200. They're all made to hook. So you could drill them however you want, and it's going to make some sort of motion. Right. But for me, I just feel like it gives you false ball motion. It makes the ball do something it's not supposed to, versus kind of drilling for what the ball was built to do.
Okay.
You drill a high road upside, or, you drill a high road pinned down. I don't know what that would do, but then maybe it makes it one of your earlier balls, and then that's just not what the ball was designed to do. And then you're just kind of working too hard, getting a little too far out of the, circle of layouts, I feel like. But you mentioned that, and Slim was like, "Yeah, I feel like we may be missing something in the two-handed layouts." Because once that weight hole went away, it was like all the pins went way up. Because Tom Doherty was probably the first guy to kind of figure that out, because he was one-handed, no thumb. Right. And he always, like, his CGs were, like, in his fingers. And I remember asking him a few times, and he was like, "Yeah, that's the only way I can get my ball to hook." And now 2LS came out, and they figured out, and now, like, all the pins are super high. And I guess that's just putting the weight block in a different position for drilling that without that weight hole makes it still perform at optimum level, I guess.
Gotcha. Okay. Like I said, I was just very curious about that, because I've drilled a few where I've drilled like through the pin, whether I'm not getting real particular with drilling, but like I would put the pin through my ring finger, CG like 45 degrees, even up to 60 degrees. And that always scooted through the front for me, but it also kind of gave that false ball motion down lane where it's like, ooh, it looks like it wants to change direction at this foot mark, but sometimes maybe this foot mark. So I do kind of understand. But yeah, again, thank you for confirming that I wasn't crazy when I say I just never see pin down layouts for two-handers.
No, if you do, I would be surprised if it was very successful. But who knows? Maybe Storm will whip something out next year and, figure out something. I mean, because they got some smart minds up there, but that is way above my pay grade. Way above.
So I know you were bowling two-handed as a kid. Did you always did you bowl one-handed for a time, or have you always been two-handed?
So I was always two-handed. My father started me when I was 3-4 years old with a heavy ball, so I had to bowl two-handed. I do remember switching for probably less than a month when I was maybe like 10, 11 years old, something like that. It was terrible, and just went right back to two-handed. But yeah, I've pretty much been two-handed my whole life, luckily, because I can make spares, but I definitely can't throw six-baggers one-handed.
Your dad has always been a big part of your life, and it's always kind of cool to see how emotional he gets during every one of your wins, no matter how many you have. I mean, it's almost like it's the first time for him. and I know he's extremely proud of you. What's your relationship like with old Gup?
It's great. We definitely don't have the typical father-son relationship. Like, he doesn't call me after the win. Well, obviously he's at some of my wins, but it's not I don't want to say the lovey-dovey relationship in a sense. Like, oh, I'm super proud of you that you won. Like, honestly, I don't know if he's told me he's super proud of me ever.
It's business as usual, basically.
In a different way. Yeah, business as usual, and then his emotions go it, and but growing up, I mean, my brother was Mom's, and I was Gup. I was like Guppy Jr. running around with him. Always, anytime he was going to the bowl, I was going with him, and I actually just got to see him yesterday. He's doing good, health is good, but we have a great relationship. It's like my old buddy. He's my old buddy.
Right.
So like if you're at a barbecue, you're grilling burgers and poppers there. You guys are just shooting the breeze, or is it like what's the next tournament, or like how is clanging a beer saying, this steak is great? Is there the chumminess, or is it literally just like all systems go?
Oh yeah, no, I mean we're still just shooting the shit,
right,
whatever.
So
no, it's not all business by no means with Guppy. I mean, it's probably the furthest from all business outside of bowling.
So that's what Straight Up 5 wants to hear. Like at least because it was a little loaded question too. Like and when you got to go, well, he doesn't do this, and I get that because me, world class athlete, obviously, So no, but because they just assume, especially how emotional he gets, that you think like you guys are high-fiving, hugging trophies back at the hotel, throwing your money in there and drinking out of it. But I get it, I totally get it in that respect. But at least, and it's down to earth, just goofing off when you see him again, and that's where I feel like it evens out. Like the whole relationship evens out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can remember a funny quote he always told me, whenever it rained and I was younger and kind of rushing through the parking lot. It's like, don't worry, shit floats. Just stuff like that.
See, my dad said there's no soap in the water. Don't worry.
But no, I mean we have awesome relationship. Like I said, he's my old buddy. Yep. And, I mean I call him Gup. I've hardly ever. I only call him Dad when I'm talking about him to somebody that doesn't know who Guppy is. Because if I'm talking about my dad, I'm like,
that's wild, man. That's awesome.
So we do have a little. Some people find that so wild. Like you call your dad Gup. I'm like, I always have. Since I was a little kid, I grew up hearing Guppy in the bowling alley all the time.
That's who he is, man.
Hearing Gup from Mom, and that's what it is. But it's a great relationship.
That's a cool part of it. That's a unique thing that again, and even because I knew there was more to it. I fucking knew there was more to it. That's all. But I'm glad you clarified that. That's awesome, man.
Plus, he's one of the coolest dudes ever. I mean, just look at him. He's still styling and profiling, man.
He's a G. Yeah, his knees are kind of bowing out even further, and he's walking slower. But hey, he's still G'd up. He was talking about getting.
You could drive a train through his legs, but he's still got the freaking style going, man.
Got the 5-hole. So I mean, did it surprise you then when you saw how emotional he got during your wins?
No, not really, because I know deep down he's crying like a little baby. He's super happy that I'm winning. Hell, I can't remember which tournament it was, but I told him, I'm like, yeah, take your glasses off. Don't be hiding them tears for the camera. No, show them. Yep, let them know. But and that's the other special part about it.
And then he put him back on though. It was one swipe, and then he put him back on to make sure. Hard as a rock.
And that's just another part of whenever I win, it just feels special that he's able to still join me and be a part of those wins and kind of rack up the title count for the Troup legacy, not just myself.
That's badass, man. That.
Not many second generationals end up, in the same sport, whatever sport it is, being better than their predecessors. So I mean, the fact that you've had so much success on tour is a big deal, especially with how great he was. What, he had 9 titles? I mean, he was a great bowler himself.
Had
8 titles,
8 national, 42 regionals. I will not catch him at regional title. I bowl 1 or 2 a year. And at this point, he was bowling 30 a year in the South when I was a kid growing up.
So, because of the intro that you did for us way back on Cameo, there's there's something that you said in particular. It's become kind of our it's affectionate, but I clipped it and I put
it's not ours. It's
yours.
It's northeastern now.
It is.
I it's my own fault, and I apologize.
I put it in the soundboard, and you can here. I'll tell you, Chuck Ritchie, throw it up there.
I do.
That has become everyone's favorite sound effect. So I just wanted to thank you for that. But it also,
why did you say thank you at least?
But,
am I getting
obviously
am I getting rolled?
I'm not making fun of you. It's your
when we do, you will. It's terrible, and this is not. It's not right. We're not. We're rotten people, and we're just
horrible.
We're horrible right now.
That is great.
But every week we get people throwing up in the chat going, "I do." So I mean, it's just
because you went. The thing was, Kyle, you were rolling, man. You were crushing this promo, and then all of a sudden you went very southern for this 1 second, and I was like, "Man, what did he just say?" And then it rolled, and I wasn't intentional, but now we have the soundbite, and now maybe we got shirts, maybe we got T-shirts, man.
We might have to give you percentage of the royalties for that.
And I told them not to say anything because I'm supposed to be the ringleader here, but they don't listen to me anymore.
Kyle knows how to roll. This show's different than anybody else. But
like JP was saying, I leave my impression on people. I leave my
100%.
impression with you guys to use forever.
And they knew it was you crushed it, man. Fucking A right, you did.
That's awesome.
I just remember like playing the intro every week, and I could see when we're in the green room, I could still see Johnny's camera. And when you go, he doesn't have the best hair in the world. I do. Right. And I could see Johnny just smile every single time that it's said. So I had to.
You know what? You couldn't see me smiling. That's for damn sure, because I would never do that to you, buddy.
It just makes me happy. What can I say?
It makes all of us happy. It makes.
I was wondering,
happy.
like, what in the world did I say that for? But that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, that sounds like me. Yeah, that is country me. Yep.
Honest the truth, I didn't know you were country though. Serious shit. Like I lived in the South for a bit. I swear to God, I didn't know. I'm
not like a super country person.
No, I get you.
I got that accent for sure. Now I live in Louisville, so it ain't going nowhere.
You fit right in Louisville. So
it pulls out every so often. That's all it is.
It's the fact that you call it Louisville and not Louisville just tells you everything that we need to know about.
And honestly, Rob, initially the reason I would always smile is, you got to remember, dude, I went to college in Morehead State. So initially when I heard it, it brought me right back to college because it was so natural to me. I'm like, holy, so that's why every time I heard it, it brought me back to like some of the greatest years of my life. Oh dear, it feels horrible to say that.
Well, this is all Rob's fault, as per usual.
I do.
I love it. I mean,
come on, Rob, knock it off. Listen, Rob doesn't have a neck, so he has to compensate by doing things like that.
I still can't find it, but so are you still on First Form? Because I saw all of your videos on your Kyle Troup page on Facebook, and it looks like it looks like really great products. Are you still on board with them?
Yeah, the sponsorship's going well. Like I mentioned earlier, coming up on the 1 year mark, probably about the end of July. They're launching some new stuff throughout the summer. Looking forward to trying the new flavors, but we have had some pretty exciting stuff. It's going to be kind of rolling out here at Bowl Expo. We did get First Form into Ace Mitchell distributor. They were able to work out a deal. Because our goal is to try and get these into pro shops. The bowling centers doesn't really fit bowling center models for business models to have protein bars and beef sticks. I know I'm not going to be at Bowl Expo because I'll be bowling nationals, but Dave is going to be there, have a little booth set up with Ace Mitchell. And then I am going to work the Schenectady in Schenectady, New York. The Ace Mitchell trade show, I'm going to come up as kind of like a first form representative and hang out there. So that's pretty exciting for us. You know, it took a lot of work on Dave's part with dealing with first form and Ace Mitchell. And that's just to be one of the biggest beginning steps to kind of really get this stuff into bowling centers and get it more current. You know, working up little graphics, little email stuff, email blasts, and autograph cards to put in with everything. So a lot of exciting stuff there. And, you know, I know he picked up some other athletes throughout the year. AJ Johnson, Darren Tang, Chris Ba, Packy started working with Dave as well. So, you know, there was definitely some guys catching on to it throughout the season. A lot of guys wanting, you know, hey, you got any more of them bars? You got any of them beef sticks? You know, definitely imprinted that on the guys on tour a little bit. So it was nice to see that. And yeah, I mean, the results are good. You know, obviously the tour's done right now, so definitely able to kind of hit the gym a little bit harder, trying to gain weight, you know, trying to get to about 190 now. Just maintained 180 throughout the tour season. You know, tried not to lose or gain more than a pound or two in a week. But yeah, so we're trying to just add on some muscle, you know, hit the gym a little bit harder for a few months, and then kind of see what the next goal is physically there. But yeah, first form, we're rolling, man. It's good. I'm loving it.
That's awesome to hear, dude.
We may post the 1 year pictures, you know, because I do send weekly check-ins to Dave every week, you know, front, side, and back, no flex or anything. And he sent me one this past Monday, and I was like, damn, all right. And it helped that I shaved my chest, so I don't have an afro on my chest now. You know, it's summertime. I gotta get that tan on a little bit. You know, can't be rubbing a bottle of lotion every day on my chest.
Not the farmer's tan. Hey, they weren't nudes, were they? I assume they were just regular clothes. Shit. All right, we're not gonna know. All right, well, listen. Hey, to get a detailed,
They do. Don't they do like this subscription thing on Instagram? You can subscribe for like exclusive content.
Here we go. Now you got to find out, people. Everybody in the chat, get on there.
It was a rough year on tour, so
he said he shaved. He might not have stopped. You never know, man.
I'm sure there's a market for that. There's a market for everything. You could cash in on that for sure. No,
and then after I shaved, I used my dude wipes.
There you go.
No
nice
smear,
segue.
Only something or other. What the hell was it? I forget it.
No, I'm happy for you guys, and that is awesome that you're getting that into bowling centers, because there's a lot of younger bowlers that are in the gym and they're athletic and are health conscious and stuff like that. So that's cutting edge when it comes to bowling and first form together. That's a really cool thing, and to see some of your compatriots on the tour want to know about it and get in better shape too. That's cool. That's a win-win for everybody. So that's a really, really cool thing that you guys are doing.
Totally agree. And he got involved with the Lucy doubles. You know, he'll have a little something going on with Donna down there as well. So we're definitely getting into the scene a little bit more.
And honestly, the greatest thing about it is for anybody that's ever done any kind of training, and anybody here can obviously vouch because all of us have, is it disciplines you in so many other areas of life too. It's not only just helping you perform, especially as you get older, but it's also keeping you in check for the daily regimen. You know, it keeps you successful. It keeps you disciplined, and that's kind of where the drive comes from. It's not like waking up one day and saying, you know what, I want to grow muscle. Like Kyle wants to put on 10 pounds of muscle. Okay, 10 pounds of muscle is going to take being in a caloric surplus. It's going to take the right amount of protein, the right amount of training, well-positioned cardio. So you build your entire day around maintaining the only engine you have, which is this, right? So if you're building that step by step and all the things that go into it, it's going to help you in every single walk of life. And when you look at all the pros, like he just mentioned with first form, you look at, guys like Chris Vi, Packy, Kyle, there's a reason those are the guys that are the representatives for a brand like that. So kudos to you, man.
Heck yeah. And that was one of the other things that I mentioned early on that I really liked about it was, it kind of just kept me in a process of life in a sense. You know, especially whenever like we were in the cut phase and kind of getting into the dieting and, you know, weighing everything to the T and just figuring out my ways of eating and eating stuff I wasn't used to and the check-ins, like it definitely was a different routine of life and just more accountability pretty much. I mean, hell,
I was just
drove
going to say,
home
it holds
from-
you accountable. That's exactly the word, is accountability, because if you're slacking off laying on the couch for 2 days straight, they're going to go, hey, wait a second, where was your check-in here? So it's
totally agree.
And you're a professional athlete. You're clearly already driven, but it's always great to have a regimen like that.
Yeah. So, if anybody is interested, Underrated Muscle, that's Dave Hentz, my fitness nutrition coach, and obviously First Form Products. I drop links from time to time. Awesome stuff. I mean, I will say, if anybody tries one of these protein bars or beef sticks, you're not going to try any other protein bar. Like, you're going to throw away any other ones you've ever had. Like, the shit's bomb. Like, it is good. Like, no pro. Dang, he's got it. Look at that.
I was just going to say, Rob, put it in the
He's
chat.
got it right there. And,
Go to firstform.com. Sorry. For those listening on podcast. Firstform.com. That's number one stphrm.com /team or team mum.
Team
that helps.
UM,
that helps.
Underrated Muscle.
That helps Kyle out, definitely, and to help yourself out.
No, it helps themselves out. It doesn't help. Kyle's already helped out. It helps themselves out.
That's right. That's right. You got anything else for Kyle, Rob? You got anything else for Kyle?
The Trooper?
The Troops?
I know Guppy wants to be on the show. He mentioned it one time in the chat. So we gotta work on getting him on the show so we can.
Does he have a computer?
Sure do that. Yeah, he's got a laptop and everything. We'd probably just have to get Tyler to help him kind of get it hooked up and whatnot. But yeah, I'm sure we could work that in there.
We'll peel off the layers of the onion. We'll break Guppy down, man. We'll break him down and we'll make him cry.
Y'all would have a night. Y'all would have a night on the
Guppy's
show.
He's going to make me cry if he even attempts to tell the Pennsylvania story. He's going to ruin my life and make it better at the same time.
What are you most looking forward to coming up here? As you know, for next year, what are you going to focus on? Do you have a game plan yet?
Well, I'm going to successfully get through this wedding on August 23rd, so we're going to start there. If we get through that, then yeah, life is good. And, you know, but
I mean, he even said you started it about a month ago. You started getting it at the end of the season. You started working on your regimen, so. It's kind of like you're already laying the game plan down. You just got to continue it until we start back in. When is it starting to fall? I don't even know.
Yeah, you know, we don't know our schedule yet. You know, early rumors through grapevines, I've heard we're not starting until February next year instead of like middle of January. You know, obviously we're going to the CW. You know, I'm really excited. I know we didn't really touch on that, but I am really excited about the network change. Obviously, I'm very upset that we were gone from Fox because they were a huge part in our viewership over the years, all the reruns, all the marketing that they did, all the extra things that we hadn't seen before from ESPN.
The bolt track and all that, the boards.
Yeah,
they
definitely just the intros and outros. You know, they were doing the hero shots. Like, we never did that before then. But I'm excited about the new opportunity. You know, it's a new opportunity. It's a new network, new market, you know, new fans. So, you know, be working a lot on the physical game. I've got a few more trips planned to go see Sean Ryan throughout the end of the year. And just got to kind of stay on trying to put in some valuable practice a couple times a week, because I always stay bowling. I mean, I'm getting competition games in, you know, somewhere, doing something. But, you know, that'll definitely be the big focus. Obviously, we're going to just keep hitting the gym and nutrition. And then, you know, mentally, that'll be the last thing to kind of tighten up throughout this fall and talk to Bree. Got a few plans with that, and you know, we've got the plan built. Just got to kind of get the ball rolling in a few different ways, and looking forward to a smashing 2026.
Kyle, I had one final question for you before I give it to Rob. You used to, when I drilled a few balls for you out in Vegas, you used to not use finger grips, and you do now, correct?
Yep.
How long have you been using grips, and what made you make that change? I was always curious.
So I like to say I switched grips about 4 or 5 or I switched to grips about 4 or 5 titles ago. So yeah,
that's a good answer.
Oh, I get it. I get it. I get it.
Let's see. I won Player of the Year in 2021, no grips, and then before the it may have been at the World Series in 2022. I decided to switch. I was like, "Yep, I'm switching." Like I felt like I just couldn't hit it. And I definitely wasn't as sharp as I was in 2021. Like that was the big fall off year. Like made all that money and hit the chill and lost my touch. Like lost the feel a little bit. But so yeah, I mean, I just felt like I was kind of falling behind as far as just I was working very hard to get the ball to hook. And I tried it. It worked out well, and I was able to win the tour finals, I believe, at the end of that year. So, and I think they won the playoffs with grips as well. So, was able to get some wins with grips. I never switched back. It just when I do remember like when I switched, I was like, damn, it's so much easier to hit it now. Like so much easier.
Had you ever used grips prior to, or you just okay? So this is your foray into a new era. You're like, oh shit. It's like,
yep. Like I do remember trying it when I was like 14 or 15 in the ball. Didn't really like it.
Yeah.
And then just went back because I always used Guppy's balls growing up, and he never used finger grips either. Obviously, he had the thumb slug.
And
he
Kyle,
used the thumb slugs, but no inserts.
Standard finger grips, or do you use vacuums?
Standard. That's it. So I never ventured into vacuums. I don't know if I want to. Like, I mean, fuck, I've won 4 times now, 4 or 5 times with grips, just doing them regular. And, I definitely have some finger issues sometimes. Like I rip on the right side, like in the corner just a little bit, but it's weird. Like, I guess I guess you're not supposed to rip, but I also go a little bit past the first crease. So, I was digging there for a little bit. I was making the holes a little too big, so the grips were too loose.
You rip on which finger on which side, Kyle?
The mid finger, so my right side if I'm looking at it. Just right there in the corner a little bit.
You rip on the middle finger right side?
Yep.
I rip on
that's literally you.
I literally tear middle finger on that side.
Yeah, right there on the corner.
Right below that first crease. How funny.
You came over
and then and then my ring finger. Now Reno is what got me pretty bad because it's dry out there. Oh yeah, I was cracking just straight across the first crease in my ring finger this year. Wow. So that sucked. Like, but now I got the little new skin patch process down to a T. A little bit of new skin, throw the patch, a little bit of new skin, super glue underneath the sides so I don't pull up.
I've said that before. That's called the dip joint, by the way. So if you want to be technical and you want to say, hey, look, man, my dip joint just, and they're going to go, what are you talking about? Say, don't worry about it. I'm Kyle Troup, goddammit.
That's right.
Yeah, Kyle Troup. Yeah, and then you got to
get it. Right?
I do.
Man, this is so good to have this freaking guy on. Thank goodness.
Hell yeah.
So how do we stop EJ? How can you stop EJ Tackett? The guy he's a monster.
Unfortunately, I called it in September last year when I went and bowled the regional at his center. Of course, I beat him then,
right.
But like halfway through practice session on Friday, I remember going up to EJ and I was like, you know what? Screw you. I was like, what? I'm like, you're literally about to pound their face again next year, aren't you? Because he bowls on strings. String pins will make you better. Like, I don't want to get into, I don't really feel like talking, getting into the whole string pin topic. Yep. But I firmly believe string pins will make you better because every shot has so much sauce, I like to call it, on it for him. So much leverage. Like, his hand is so far underneath it because you have to do that on strings if you want to strike a lot. And he's practicing on them and he's sick. How do we stop him? I mean, just get the TV. He can still be beaten on TV, but how do you stop him from making TV? I don't think you do. Like, yeah. I mean, he's on another level. if they change the patterns, I don't, like some people say, oh, we just bowl on similar stuff all the time. Like, I don't think that matters. Like, it would either be slow him down. I think maybe the only other thing is sprints, short game like short formats.
Yeah.
If he only gets 18 games or something, he may not figure it out because you've seen he'll go to last place and then he'll lead and last place. Like, never seen a guy dominate and be in the bottom 5 after a couple games in so many tournaments.
It's insane.
It's sick.
You know who else
Crazy.
was like that for a while?
And then
no shit.
But then he's coming. Like, oh yeah, EJ's in last. He'll be in the cut after 8. Yep, there he is.
Oh my God. These are the best bowlers in the world, man.
I love the fact that you brought up the strings because you're right. You have to flush every single shot, and that does give him an advantage. I'm glad I asked that question because no one else has said that. That is a fantastic point that we didn't think
Rob,
of.
it really is because we used to talk about the pros and cons of making the pins heavier. Well, in retrospect, the string pins kind of like did that without having to do it.
They're actually doing that.
You're taking away that extra hit and a half a game. You're taking away the slow roller messenger or that traditional light mixer. It's replaced with a swish and 10 or a flat 7. It's something that's bringing the 230 bowler to say 220. That one hit a game without having to tell an entire group like, hey, your ball speed's too slow to knock down heavier pins. You know what I mean? So yeah,
right,
for sure.
Well, everybody, you heard it here first. Kyle Troup said, "Go practice on strings. You can beat EJ Tackett." You heard it here first.
If I could bowl on string pins, the certified ones, I'd be doing it every day.
Yes, that is the tip from the pro right there. Well, Kyle, we appreciate everything you do for the sport, brother. You are the face of the PBA. We love the fact that you are not just a showman because that is what the sport needs, and that is great for the sport. But you're also one of the real G's. You're down to earth, and you're always welcome on the show. We appreciate you coming on and spending your time with us. I know you got to go, but we just want to thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Thank you.
Definitely, guys. It's been a blast, man. Always a pleasure to hop on and do some podcasts, especially with the good crew like you guys. If I can, obviously I see you drop the first form link there. Do a quick plug for KyleTroupBowling.com. We got a couple announcements coming out in the next few weeks after Nationals and Junior Gold, so stay tuned with that stuff. And best of luck to you guys. Love y'all's show. Keep doing great things. And we'll see you 10 pounds later.
I do. You bet, buddy.
To the good.
Keep tracking, man.
I do.
Later, bro.
I'll catch you, buddy.
Thanks,
See you guys.
We'll see you. That's good stuff.
So
I'm glad
maybe he is nude. Is that possible? Like that he's doing them? Think about it.
I don't think so, Tim.
He didn't. He was kind of vague about it. Just because I feel
Go to
like
onlyfans.com/Afrofish. No, I'm just.
No, I feel like it must be like only PBA at Afrofish or something.
I had a lot. I liked what he had to say about a lot of things there. I really like what he brought up about EJ with those string.
Dude, that fucking blew my mind.
I'll tell you what, man.
Yes.
For the people that have bowled on him, he's spot on with that. But aside from getting into that, it was really, really cool to, like we said earlier, to talk to one of the best on such a human level. He let out Mia to go piss in the middle of the show. I mean, that was awesome. It was a really great show, obviously,
and then proved it. I was like, oh yeah, what's the?
You're letting the dog out now.
See, and I didn't even do.
I'm telling you, the next time he makes a show, we got to get a group of at least a dozen of us from this show, make I Do shirts, and just I Do the entire.
I can't believe
crowd.
you did. I was against it. I'm
so glad you did it.
For the record, I was against it.
Dude, people are saying it everywhere now. They say it everywhere. It's fantastic.
I love it. And I'm glad
we jokingly will say it like, "Oh, did you see that? I do."
I do.
Poor guy. That's like
we need to get I do trending on Twitter. No, I'm glad he's a good sport about it. Hopefully, he's not.
Yeah, no shit. He's probably like, "Fuck these assholes, man."
Yeah, I'm never going to that show again.
I'm pretty sure that he's perfectly fine.
That's the way he made it. Yeah, he's
because it's badass and fun. But anyway,
but again, we could make a shirt out of it. We got shirts. I'm telling you, get to the art department. Somebody help us out.
We could just have a fish with an afro and put "I do" underneath it. And we'll have to give him some royalties on that, but no.
Or you know them greeting cards that like talk to you? Who loves you? Who loves you? I do.
I do.
Oh, that's so good. Chuck says, "Give me an I do shirt, and I'll go to a show and get front row seats." That's so good.
Well, we have to,
anyway, gentlemen. I'm still working on Daria Payok.
Don't say that. Stop saying that, Rob.
And I am going to work with Troup, with Kyle to get Guppy on, because he did mention on Facebook a couple months ago that he wanted to be on.
He's still not working on finding his neck. I do have to find his neck.
I gave up on a search for my neck long ago, bro. So it is what it is.
It could be wherever podcasts are found. I mean, but I don't know. You haven't looked.
That's true. Is there
We have a Reggie Stenhouse sighting. What's up, Reg? Good to
Holy
see
shit.
you.
What's going on, brother? Wow. But unfortunately, we are at the end of our show here. And thanks for everybody showing up here on a Friday night. Not our usual crowd here showing up, but we do appreciate the people that did show up. And please check us out on the replay. If you're just tuning in, this will be available in a few minutes if you want to rewatch the episode. So, you know what? I've made a business decision to not do the Imbecile of the Week anymore, because I think we're above that. I think we're putting out quality shows with quality guests, and we don't need to sink down to that level, if that makes sense.
Instead of wearing an improperly written Dodge truck hat,
can we at least let everybody know about the fair? For anybody that wasn't here,
we can absolutely see. We'll never see. That is one thing that we'll never forget.
Anybody that wasn't here last week, it's coming up soon, so make sure you get your tickets.
Union County, Illinois Fair. Nothing compares to the fair.
And these are the Kyle Troup pictures for next week when he's weighing in.
I got nothing else for that. So, Johnny Ocho, another great show. And we'll be back here on Wednesday on a normal day next week. Thanks for Kyle Troup for coming on a Friday night, working on with our schedule. And we'll be back here at our normal time and normal day next week. So, good night, everybody. Have a great weekend and a great next week. We'll see you next Wednesday. Good night, everybody. How long can you hold that pose?
We froze.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. You can follow the show on Twitter at Straight Up 5 Pod. Follow Johnny Jr. at JPJR07. Follow Rad Rob at Rad Rob Gaming. And follow Dr. Ocho at the Dr. Ocho. Got a question for Johnny? Send your questions to straightup5podcast@gmail.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. right here